What is up, YouTube? This is that PlayStation Gamer. Today we're going to be reacting to Jason Aldean's music video, Try That in a Small Town. Now, this music video has garnered a lot of controversy. Some people are saying it's racist. I am a Jason Aldean fan. I actually like his music quite a bit. In fact, no surprise here, I like country music. I grew up in a small town. I grew up in I grew up in the countryside of Washington. Um, Mostly I live in the city of Everett, which is described as a blue collar town. Not like a super big town or anything, but it's also not a very nice town to live in. But when it comes, I guess not town would be an accurate way to describe it. But my dad lives in a very small town, so does my mom, and I I know this kind of culture very well. You know, if you try to rob the local convenience store, they'll know who it is almost instantly, and it never ends well. My dad is a proud member of the NRA. I'm not a member of the NRA, but at the same time, I also respect it to a certain degree because it is protecting our rights. Don't get me wrong, the NRA is a scummy corporation just like everyone else out there. But I get why people, subscribe to the NRA. I get why people have the values they have, especially in today's climate where you're being told this is racist, that's racist. Let's just get into it. So I got a feeling I'm gonna have a lot to say about this music video. But if you guys could do me a favor before we get this started, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit the subscribe button because I got a feeling this is gonna garner some controversy. I got a feeling that I'm gonna get copyright claim. I might get in trouble because I'm technically, according to some people, listening to a racist song. But I listened to it before without the music video. I thought it's okay. Like, I don't think it's his best song, but we'll get into it.
Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like, cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough, well try that in a small town, see how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't.
God, it's so weird that many of these, some of this footage is from Seattle during the whole George Floyd and I think there was a couple other protests that started this whole thing. And don't get me wrong, I agree that you have to speak out about this kind of stuff, but I also think the quote unquote protests were hijacked by people who were looking for opportunity. They're looking for a way to make a quick buck. So, if you guys don't know this, I actually did protest, the whole thing. I was part of a group, and it was fairly, quiet. The police didn't do anything. They didn't stop us. That you're just like, hey, we just need to ask you guys not to, do anything against the law. And that's the thing about protesting. It's one thing if you're protesting and you're breaking a law. That's not protesting. Then that's rioting. It's the same thing what happened with the January riots. It's like at first it starts off as a bit of a protest or a riot, whatever they called it. But once it got violent, that's the point. It's like, okay, you lose any right to claim it was peaceful. You lose the right to claim any higher cause because the second you start hurting someone, that's a different story. And listen, man, the police in this world, they are gun sensitive. They are very gun sensitive. But at the same time, I get why they're gun sensitive. There are people who are literally putting, like marks on the back of their head. There are people putting making it almost a game to try to chase the police down. There are police who almost refuse to answer the call just because, they're afraid that someone's going to ambush them and shoot them in the head. And this is stuff that's happened. There have been reports where police officers have been gunned down at a freaking coffee shop. I get why the cops are afraid. And when the cops are afraid and they're also being told they're a bunch of assholes, bigots, racists, fuck the job. It ain't worth it. You want to do the right thing, great, cool, but, when the community also fucking decides they don't want you, it's like, well, fuck this job. Fuck this job then. And if you look in the state of Washington, where I live, it's going to shit. It's going to shit because we don't actually, encourage our police to actually go stop crime. We let the homeless, cover the streets because we don't want to seem insensitive. Like, at what fucking point do we just say, you know what? God damn it. I'm all about being socially aware. I'm all for, the political activism and all that shit. But can we actually do something about these problems? Can we do something about these burglaries? Can we do something about the fucking, carjackings that are going up? People have literally started siphoning gas because gas prices are so high, and just to keep their fucking car going. It's like, oh my god. I kind of get what he's saying here. If you pull this kind of shit in a small town, it ain't gonna end well for you. And yeah, that seems like a threat of violence, but it's really not, because that can mean multiple ways it can end. It's kind of up for interpretation. If you interpret that as he's going to hurt you, I can see that then. But I don't think the song so far is racist. Although I got a feeling we're going to get into the real heavy stuff.
Try that in a small town. That my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town full of good old boys, raised up right.
I do like that footage. They're trying to rob this guy. He just looks at him like, oh, I guess I'm doing that today. I can tell you, actually, I've had a very scary thing happen to me. There's a local convenience store that's not far from where I live. I was walking to that convenience store, and no joke, there were 3 cops with their gun pulled out, walking to the front of the store's door. And the cop from the behind, he sees me. He basically waves to me, "Go away." I'm like, okay. I literally started turning around. I went behind. And I went down a whole different other block because I was like, I am not fucking doing that shit. But yeah, you try that shit in a small town, you're gonna end up with something in your face. It could be a fist, it could be a gun, it could be a cop. But yeah, the people in small towns don't put up with that kind of shit.
If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town.
These farmers are dropping their own crops for the day. A friend is in need, and they've come to help.
It's what this community and a lot of our communities stand for. Somebody needs some help, you'll get it.
Try that in a small town.
Okay, for one, that was a surprisingly short song. Yeah, I don't see how this is racist. I'm sorry. Like, you might interpret it as racist. You might interpret it, he's, is stolen those good old boy values. Well, no shit. He's a country singer. Just like, yeah, this is not racist. I'm sorry. So I consider myself liberal. I consider myself a fairly, progressive person. I'm like, yeah, this stuff is true. Don't try that shit in a small town, because you're gonna end up with something in your fucking leg, if you're lucky. Yeah, this is nothing shocking. This is how it's a song, and it's not even that good. It's actually surprisingly short. Like, you know, are we at the point that pointing out, like, some people defend their property? Is that racist now? Defending your property is racist now. I know for a fact that if I walked up to my dad's place tonight, by myself, I'd be greeted with, if I didn't call him in advance, I guarantee I could be greeted with a dog fucking growling at me and my dad fucking shouting his lungs out, probably trying to get his gun. Because people are freaking afraid. Someone walks in your house with a gun, what can you do? You have to defend yourself. And yeah, it's a scary world we live in. You could do that. You try that shit in a city, it's easy to get away with it. You try that shit in a small town where everyone knows each other and it's an outsider, they're going to find out who it is. That's country justice for you, man. But yeah, I don't think this is racist. And yeah, small communities do look out for each other. I don't think they look out for each other, as much as they glorify, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think they, what's the best way to put it? They attack each other like they do in the cities. Like, oh my god. Some people here are fucking violent as hell just because they want to be violent. What happened to, being decent to each other? What happened to peacefully protesting? What happened to, if you were short a couple of dollars, you go out and get an extra job? Or, I don't know, just ask for a handout. This is not a racist song. This is not a racist music video. If it was racist, it would have been like pointing out the race. It would have been like, them black people better watch themselves kind of attitude. But this was like, no, just watch yourself in general, because you try that shit in a small town, it's not going to end the way you think it would if you're from the city. Yeah, nothing racist about it. Well, I actually do a reaction video to this one too, because this woman's fucking insane. But until next time, guys, this is That Place You Should Go. Sign out. Hope you all had a good day. Peace out.